The first rule of staying safe, be aware of your surroundings. Sean Larkin here for Crime in Place, the iPhone app that keeps you aware of crime rates anywhere you are, want to go, or just need to know, nationwide. Crime in Place uses current FBI data for property and personal crimes, so it's always up to date. What's more, it's free to download. Just go to crimeinplace.com. That's crimeinplace.com. Stay aware, stay safe with Crime in Place.
Yeah, that's a good app.
It's a good one.
Especially with the holidays coming. You're going to need if you're traveling.
Yes. Well, if you're traveling, especially to where our guest today happens to work.
Oh, Sean, do we have a guest today?
We do have a guest today.
Huh.
We're very fortunate to have one each week.
Yeah, we do. We find some pretty interesting guests.
We do, man. And actually, this guy kind of came across him, I guess I'd say maybe through like a mutual friend that he and I both know, or at least know of. There in New York. Back when I was doing Live PD, kind of became a second home. I was out there all the time, and there was a guy at my gym. Kind of floats around a bunch of gyms, actually, by the name of Sin Martinez. He's got like a clothing line out there called Afro Brutality, which ironically I was aware of even before I ended up out there.
Yeah.
So he and I are both old dudes in the gym trying to get at it, and we'd partner up. And really unique dude. I mean, he's tatted up like complete waist up to his neck with like Iron Maiden tattoos, and it's just something that just didn't fit. I mean, he was like into this, heavy metal and just pounded the weights, was hard in there. And so kind of chopping it up, getting to know him, I don't know, somehow through Instagram or something like that, ended up connecting with like another guy that he knew had worked out with there in the city, and kind of followed him through his career a little bit, and fortunate to have him here on Coptales&Cocktails with us today.
What's his name?
Well, on Instagram, I'll let him plug that, but he does go by Jumpman Jay on there. The dude is an athletic freak. So anybody who wants to watch that could get on there, just because I have much admiration or respect for the guys that can get, guys and girls that get in there and get at it like that. But his name is Jason, but goes by Jason Lacayo.
Nice. And he comes,
yes, sir.
He's on the NYPD.
He is. He's in. Jason, man, or Jay, I'll let you, kind of fill us in real quick on, where you work, and then we'll kind of get at it from there.
Well, hey, before we do that, man, I'm thirsty.
I'm thirsty.
You thirsty, Jumpman Jay? Or can I
Absolutely.
Jump?
Yeah, you call me Jumpman. Whatever,
All right,
whatever
Jumpman.
works for you.
I like that. That's a good one. I don't have a cool nickname like that. Sticks. Or
You got to earn them, man.
Well, I don't want to know what
You got to get dubbed one.
That's it. That's it.
I've gotten dubbed a few, but then I'm going to talk about those at all.
So we let I hit Jay up and wanted to know what he wanted to drink for the show, and he kind of tricked us a little bit. But what did you tell us you enjoy drinking?
Tequila. I'm a tequila drinker, so normally I do tequila soda with some lime juice, but I felt a little cheeky today, and I was like, I'm just going to put it on the rocks, man. So
all right.
I got a little Casamigo on the rocks here.
Well, we are not tequila drinkers, and so we did go with the tequila, the soda, and like damn near whole limes in each one of them, just so we could. But we're going to give a plug to a personal friend of ours, a guy by the name of John Wolf, who Jason, our counterpart that's here in studio with us every week, was actually the best man in his wedding. These guys have known each other forever. He is actually a very good-sized, large country singer.
He's not fat. I mean, he's popular.
He's very popular. Very popular.
He's like a good size. He's not John Moreland, man. We love John Moreland. Don't get us wrong.
But his, John Wolf's his name. He's really big. I think he is on the cover right now, like Spotify's Texas Country or something like that. Brand new album out. So we're going to give him some love. But he also has his own tequila line, which is Juan Lobo, Spanish for John Wolf.
John Wolf, yeah.
That's it right there, Juan Lobo. Yeah. So much love to John and his lovely wife, and anybody out there can find some Juan Lobo, get you some. So cheers to you, Jay. Appreciate you being on.
All right, cheers to you, fellas.
Oh, that tastes like ass.
It's an acquired taste for tequila, man.
Oh, bro.
God, this is awful.
Yeah, this is terrible. No,
really?
Wait, hold on. John, your tequila is not terrible. We got to say that. John Wolf, your tequila. Juan Lobo is not terrible. We're just not tequila drinkers.
You got to be a tequila drinker to understand it,
Am I curing scurvy right now? Why the hell am I drinking this? Is this cleaning my? Is this ivermectin? What the hell is this shit?
All right, man.
Hey
So
man, it's good for the soul, bro.
it's
All right,
good for the soul.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll drink it.
So is confession. So, all right, man. So fill us in. Where you're working and what you do out there.
Okay. So I was hired by NYPD in 2005, and I worked there to about 2007. I work for a small city now, just north of the greater like New York City area called White Plains. Um, when I was hired by NYPD, I don't know if you guys remember or heard of this, but there was this big program going on called Operation Impact, and that's basically what I did my whole career there. I did a little bit of patrol work. It was like a very small amount, and then when I transferred over to my present department, I got into like what they call a conditions unit, or like a plainclothes unit. I did that for about 4 years, and then they sent me to SWAT school, and I was SWAT certified in like 2010, and I've been on the truck uh, since 2013. So I don't know how like it works where you guys are at, but like if you're a SWAT operator here, you have to be kind of cross-trained to be an emergency services officer. So you ride the truck, and basically you're well versed in like vehicle extrication. Bare minimum, you have to be an EMT, rope rescue. You got to handle power tools and things like that. And obviously, we conduct search warrants and work with the fire department and do like heavy rescue. So been doing that since like 2000, and I've been full-time truck like since 2013.
When you say truck, what do you mean? Describe this truck to me.
Oh, so the truck is basically an ambulance, right? That they gut. So
Okay.
they gut the ambulance, and they throw every possible toy you can think on there: chainsaws, sawzall, K12. You have obviously weapons. We got M4, shotgun, MP5, less than lethal shotgun, breaching shotguns. We got gas launchers. I mean, you name it, it's on here. We got ladders, sand. If you can think about it, we can shove it on this damn truck. And it's pretty much
gas launcher is. I mean, is that something?
So
Mexican?
Yeah, so we have 40 millimeter launchers on the truck. So if you wanted to, if you had let's say you had a disorderly group and you wanted them to disperse, this thing can fire CS for up to like I think like 50 to 100 yards.
Wow.
So yeah, smoke, you name it.
Yeah, man, and it's basically there's like I think like three or four different munitions that can be fired out of those, and it's basically I used to some of them called a sage gun also, and it is.
Yep.
I mean, it looks like like in Call of Duty, the shotgun that's got the big
That's exactly what it looks like. Yep.
That's exactly what it is, but it's a 40 millimeter projectile.
It's called a sage gun. Is Sage the manufacturer?
Sage is a manufacturer.
Because I was thinking more like Sage to get rid of bad ghosts and
get rid of bad juju and all that.
Yeah. No.
Get some.
This just gets rid of bad people. Just removes them from the area.
That's it. Yep, that's it. Or anybody else that cross paths with it.
That sounds like a redneck's wet dream down here, man. That's an amazing truck. We have Chevys and Fords, so that sounds like something they would really love. Heck, I want.
Yeah. No, man, you guys kind of like jack of all trades, basically.
Yeah, it's we call that's what we say. We're a jack of all trades, master of none. So you can wear a different hat every single day of the week when you go to work. So it was something that I wanted to do in my career. I was able to do it with like 8 years on. I didn't spend that much time on patrol. I was I was a proactive guy because I didn't want to be on patrol. I wanted to get into a specialized unit and then spend some time in a specialized unit and get to the truck. Like that was part of the goal. I got that done pretty quick.
Well, you talk about White Plains and it being obviously smaller than NYPD, which is the largest police department in the world.
It has to be up there, man. They're 40,000 strong.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot to cover 5 boroughs.
Huge, isn't it?
White Plains is big, but it's not as it doesn't even hold a candle to New York City, man. It would maybe cover like a borough. So maybe like it's probably the size of like Queens.
Well, that's still that's a big outfit.
Oh, it's decent size. Oh yeah, it's decent size. Make no qualms about it. But if you're coming from such a large, like my graduating class when I graduated from the academy was like 2,200.
Damn.
You know what I mean? That's huge. We graduated in Madison Square Garden. So like that's just to give you like an idea as to how big the class was.
That's wild. Mine was 40.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Like when I talk to guys that work for certain municipalities, it's like, oh yeah, I graduated with like 30 guys, and that for them that's a large class.
Yep.
Like, oh, dude, we were 2,000 plus strong, and it was
White
probably one of
Plains? I mean, how many
white.
do you have?
How many police officers do we have? Ooh, I would say roughly like around like maybe 200 right now.
Okay.
So in comparison to 40,000, and you have like 200, it's just, yeah, I mean, 200 probably like the size of a precinct. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I graduated, they send 100 guys to the precinct that I worked in. So that's just to kind of give you like a little bit of a bearing as to, what type of manpower they have in these precincts,
Man, when you did graduate from the academy there in New York, what precinct did you go to, man? What was it like once you got out there?
I went to the 4-6 precinct. The 4-6 precinct. So every precinct has a nickname, right? So the nickname of this precinct was called the Alamo.
Wow.
So like as a young kid, so mind you, I was 22 years old when I graduated, right? So you got this young kid, and I'm a city guy, but the minute they told me, it was like, hey, you're going to the 4-6 precinct, and I was just like, holy shit! I already knew like it was going to be wartime, and back then, they were the most violent square mile in the Bronx. So
Damn.
I already knew what I was stepping into, man. And we were thrown out there. It was like the blind leading the blind. We got there. It's 100 of us in roll call, and they hand you a radio and a map, and it's like, don't get fucking lost, kid. Answer your radio and go do something. So, I mean, it was crazy, man. Like I just remember going out there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. Like it's baptism by fire. Like it's basic. It's 100 dudes out there who don't know their ass from their elbow, and you got to go out there and produce something. And it was probably, I'll tell you, it was probably the best part of my career, like the most funnest time in my career, because I was learning the job like on the fly. And it was a violent place. It was a busy place. There were shootings, there were stabbings, robberies, you name it. Like I saw it, and I was happy that I was able to see it there, because I don't think if I went to another precinct, like a slow house, like a B house, I don't think I would have saw the things that I saw and had the experience that I had. I feel like that precinct bred so many good, like street cops, proactive guys that were out there getting after it, making the street safe,
No, I've talked about this before a little bit. Like here in Tulsa, we're about 830 officers, something like that. Obviously, nothing near that size, but we're broken up into 3 patrol divisions throughout the city. The north side, that's where our gang problem, for the most part is. That's where all, statistically, the most violent area of the city is, particularly with firearm-related crimes. And so if you're a young cop and you get up there, everybody says it's like 1 year working Adam Squad, which is deep north Tulsa, is the equivalent to 3 years anywhere else in the city. Because for shootings, you're going to go to the car chases, the foot chases, how you're going to interact with people is just so different, the amount of stuff. And when they say when you're a 22-year-old kid, you're a baby out there, you grow up fast. Or you find out, hey, you know what? When shift change comes around next year, I want to work somewhere else, and you get your ass out there.
You find out a lot about yourself, man.
But you're saying that they gave you a map and set you out on your feet, right?
Yeah, we were on foot. So I'm what you call like a tweener. I always tell people this because like I came on when like before like social media was like a really big thing, and like you could GPS as you walk. That wasn't they gave you a map.
This is pre.
Yeah, this is old school. This is all like old fury. I don't want to make it sound like I'm this old war dog, but I'm one of those guys. Like now I'm a tweener. I got 16 years on. So like back then, they put you with a senior guy if you were lucky, and maybe he said 3 words to you during your shift. I mean, that's like how old school it was. You say, "Hey, how's it going? My name is Jay Lacayo." Like, yeah, very nice. Go fuck yourself, and then they just walk down the hallway.
That's it.
But that's how like cop culture was, man. You knew your position. Like if you were just looming around the precinct, they give you a fucking mop and tell you, "Hey, go mop the squad room, kid. Like, do something with yourself." So I grew up with that mindset. Being a young guy on the job, like I was taught the ropes by some really seasoned dudes. And they got to, they showed me like where the spots were to look for certain things and what to look for, what not to look, like that type of stuff, like body language. I mean, you know it from being around, but like there's certain mannerisms that, because when you're driving around in a marked police car, there's certain things that you're not going to see that somebody with 15 or 20 years is going to see, especially if you're a new guy, because no one's walking around with a handgun in their hand like that. It's like the body posture, the way they walk, how they exit a building. So I learned all of that from these senior guys, man. And I was just in awe. And, like I knew what I wanted to do. So I was like, hey, I want to get in a unit. I want to be specialized in some shape, form, or fashion. So I found like one of the busiest guys in the precinct, and pretty much was like, hey, man, dude, just show me. I was like a young Jedi. You know what I mean? Like, hey, show me your ways so I can, get to that level.
Well, shit, I was a nurse, and that was kind of the way it was back 18 years ago. I went to the ICU, and there was this lady named Judy, and she had been a nurse for, I don't know, 2,000 years. And I went up to her, and I was like, hey, hi, hello, my name is Howard. I'm a new nurse. I would like to learn from you. And she's like, get the hell away from me.
Yeah,
And
that's how it used to be. You can't do that now. But.
yeah,
Hell
like
no.
for 2 months, I would go up and I was like, "Hey, Judy, can you help me?" She goes, "I told you to get the hell away from me." Every day that I worked with it, hey, and then one day she finally goes, "Hey, newbie, come here. I'm gonna show you something." And they
Yeah.
after you kind of prove yourself, they're like, "All right, you're worth
Thank you.
teaching."
Yep.
Yeah,
You got to prove yourself, and that's like they were big on that.
I
Like if
like
you
that
want to
old
be,
school culture, man. That's a good way to go.
I
Well,
miss it.
I'd
I
say a
miss it,
policing,
man.
man, we need it now more. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to insult younger cops in general or ones that listen to it, but you start, like you said, as you get older throughout your career, you start to see the way the culture changes, the job changes, and I don't want to use the word pussified, but there's everybody. I think it's a lot of generation right now, just in general, sensitive, and going through the academy, you get screamed at all the time. That's just part of it, man. It's kind of like a boot camp. You do 1,000 push-ups. You're told you're stupid. You're told you're worthless. And
Yep.
nowadays, man, it's just like, yay, everybody, you're doing great, and it's just, man, it's this job, man, it's for real. You get out there, and
Yeah.
if you can't take people from your own agency that rag on you, dog on you, push you, talk shit to you, it's like, man, how are you going to take some dude out there that really doesn't like you
Right.
talking to you like that?
I tell you, man,
Everything they
everything they
they
did
did
to
to
us,
us.
I I say I saw it 20 times worse in the street. So I was kind of thankful that we went through like that old school, like guys just in your face, just berating you, man. Like, and you had to take it. You had to stand there at attention. They were saying whatever it is they were saying, and they wanted to get a reaction out of you, but
Yeah.
it like you learn how to absorb that, and then like take that energy and reallocate it somewhere else. But I mean, I grew up old school, bro. Like we were out there, senior guys didn't talk to the new guys. Like you kind of walked around them. You kind of, you were walking around like on eggshells around these dudes. But like I said, man, I attached myself to a few like busy guys, and I learned the job quick. And like when I say baptism by fire, like baptism by fire, like pulling up on the scene, and it's a triple shoot, and you got two guys down on the ground. You got another guy down the street. He's got 6 or 7 holes in him, and
Dang.
you got to figure out what the hell's going on. So like I'm seeing that, and I'm like not even 3 months on the street. It was crazy, man. It was still pretty violent at the time. So like I saw a lot of shootings, a lot of stabbings, like you name it, we saw it, man. Just violent crime was a thing in this particular precinct. Anybody knows anything about the Alamo, it is a very violent place.
This is
An
South Bronx.
extremely violent. Yeah, South Bronx. Yeah,
Yeah, South Bronx is rough as hell.
oh yeah, it's always been, and I think it will remain that way. That's just what it is. It's located like right on this thing called the Grand Concourse. It's like right off the Grand Concourse. So years ago, it was like the Grand Concourse is what was like Manhattan's like Park Ave. That's what it used to be years ago. So you'd walk into some of these buildings, and the lobbies would be all grand. It'd be like marble and all. It looked luxurious, but this, like I said, this is going back 50s, 60s. Now you have, I mean, 7-story walk-ups, these huge apartments, and densely populated. So like these buildings, the reason why I even mentioned the walk-ups, because if you're chasing somebody, you're going upstairs.
Right.
And they would make you do like vertical patrols. You had to go. So vertical patrol is you start in the lobby, go up to the roof, search the roof, come back down. And then if you ran into anybody in the staircase, or that obviously wasn't there, then you had to take police action. And I can't tell you how many times I'm coming down the staircase and I ran into some shit that I want no parts of, but
Yeah.
you have to, you know what I mean? Like
Part of you, huh?
you got to do your job. They wanted a part of you. Exactly, man. One of my friends, there was a kid that I came out with, and basically we're coming down a flight of stairs, and we see this dude in the staircase, and I'm kind of looking at him, and he has that look, like he had a look as if he was doing something wrong, and we were like we caught him in the middle of something. So I see he's got his right hand in his pocket. So I'm like, oh man. So I'm already grabbing my gun because I don't know if he's gonna shoot from the pocket or come out with something. So this dude had 120 bags of crack
Damn.
in his pocket. And he was a two-time felon. So this would have been his third strike, and he would have went up north and never seen the light of day. So he basically tells the kid that stops him, my partner at the time is like, listen, bro, I'm not going back. And they start fighting. So they get into a tussle and they fall down a flight of stairs. My then partner snapped his femur.
For everybody that doesn't know, that's the largest bone in your body.
The bone in your body.
Yeah.
And when I'm telling you it breaks, you can hear it snap like a chicken bone. You hear it. And when I heard that and the scream that came out of this dude's mouth, like I start bolting down the stairs and we're chasing this dude. And I mean, we chased this dude about 3 or 4 blocks, jumped on him. And when I'm telling you, like the adrenaline, I could barely breathe by the time we got to this dude. And he was still putting up a fight, man. Damn. That's why I don't know if a lot of cops take their physical fitness serious, but that was like one of the main reasons why I started training, because that easily could have went left if I wasn't like a fit kid, or a fit guy or whatever. Because, by the time I got to him, I was almost out of steam, but I had just enough, to hold them off, so that when the other guys came, when the patrol cars pulled up, I gave my location, I'm tussling with them, and I'm able to just keep him at bay until we can get some more hands on him. But if I wasn't in shape, man, I definitely got my ass handed to me, maybe worse, even killed,
Yeah. Well, man, your partner that snapped his leg, was he able to recover and come back to the job?
Yeah, he came back, but he was out. He was out for almost like a year and a half, man. That's like one of those surgeries where like he had to get some hardware in his leg. I think he had a rod and some screws, and then he was in a traction splint for Lord knows how long, and then he was light duty, and
man, in movies everybody falls down the steps and they're fine. They get them, keep chasing, but they fall out 3 or 4. Jason Bourne does that shit all the time.
They also take bullets to their arm and keep running around,
exactly.
It's like they get shot and they just keep running forward,
Yeah.
But it doesn't work like that. And I found that out real quick. So
And so how long did you work there in the Alamo before
I was there for like 2 years. I was there for 2 years, learned a lot very, very quick.
Well, I was say
very quick.
Besides your obviously your counterpart breaking a leg, in that deal. Is there another story from there, man, that kind of stands out to you looking back at your time, the early part of your career working there?
Oh man, shit! I almost got shot there.
Oh yeah, that's a good one to talk about. That's something people do
remember that.
Yeah, so we used to work this shift. It used to be 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. Right? So they had a precinct parking lot. So everybody worked in the precinct had to park. Well, the new guys had to park in this particular precinct, in this particular lot, right? And so, we get out like 2 a.m, and there was these 2 girls that I worked with, and they were like, "Oh, hey, listen, we're gonna go to this bar real quick. If you want, just meet us over there." So I'm like, "Cool, whatever." 2 other dudes that I work with, because obviously after work, you usually have a couple of drinks and then head home.
Can you go in your uniform or are you changing clothes?
Oh, no, man. You changing clothes, dude.
Okay. Hey, I don't know. Not New York. I don't
definitely
know.
Not drinking in uniform
out there on duty, man. All right. Sorry.
So the way the parking lot was set up is like you pull out and you can go left or right. So if you went left, it was to go north. If you went right, it was to go south. So they come out of the parking lot. They turn right. I see them and I'm just kind of still bullshitting with my friend, kind of figuring out what the plan's going to be for the night. And then I get a phone call. Hey, we just got hit by a drunk driver. We're literally like 2 blocks away. Come down because they're like trying to get out of the car and like leave. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I zoom over there. So we drive over there, me and this other kid. And sure enough, man, they were driving a Nissan like Pathfinder, and it was like a VW Golf hit them. So the Golf was on its side. The Pathfinder was just mangled, front end damage, airbags deployed. So we're just making sure that they're okay. So both of them are alive. They're conscious. All right. No one's had any serious injuries, just some little, shot to the face from the airbag. Their lips were a little like bruised or whatever. So I look over and it's a guy climbing out of the car. So I'm like, I'm telling my boy, like, hey, listen, go over there, just make sure these dudes don't leave. So as he goes over to talk to the driver pulls out a knife. So because they don't know who we are, they don't know we're cops. We're dressed in plain clothes. Yeah, so he's like, who the fuck is this guy coming up to me talking to me like this? So I was like, oh shit. So he pulls out a knife. My partner pulls out a gun. Right. So you know that story, like the saying, you can't bring a knife to a gunfight. So the kid, yeah, right. So he pulls out a knife. He pulls out a gun. So he's standing. He's giving him commands to like get on the ground. So as he's doing this, there's another guy who apparently was the passenger, and he's kind of like trying to flank him and come around the side. So he's coming around the side, and I see him. So now I'm like, and I see he had something in his hand. I couldn't see exactly what he had in his hand. So now I pull out my gun. So now I'm telling this guy, yo, get on the ground, face down, and we're going to call for backup. We're going to call for some units. So apparently in the midst of all of this shit, someone must have called and saw that there were two guys who had two men down at gunpoint. It came over as a robbery.
Yeah, I was just saying, they thought it was a robbery.
Yep. So it comes over as a robbery. And I'm super new in the precinct at the time, right? And mind you, like I just explained that these precincts have over 200 guys in here. So if you have a bunch of new guys that you know nothing about, you don't know who's who. I'm brandishing a firearm, I'm telling this guy to get on the ground. So their plainclothes units pull up. And when I'm telling you there were 12 guns drawn at me, there were legit 12 guns drawn at me. And I'm looking at this dude, I got him face down. And I hear the cars pull up and they're like, "There's fucking police, put the gun down, don't fucking move." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm on the job." Like I'm yelling out my shield number. I'm yelling out my tax number. I'm like, "Listen, my wallet's in my back right pocket." They're like, "Dude, we really don't give a fuck. Put the gun down." So I'm like, "All right, man, I'm gonna take the gun. I'm gonna drop it off on my left side and I'm gonna slide it out. But I'm gonna lay here because I don't want to fall down this way or lay down this way and have the guy have access to my gun." So I slid it out and I just laid there. So they came, they grabbed my wallet and they goes, "Oh shit, this dude's from our precinct."
Man,
fucking got his shield, got his ID. And then, we kind of gave him the story. But when I'm telling you I shit like 2 bricks, I've never been so scared in my life, man. I was like, this is going to be it, man. Because I don't know what this guy on the ground is going to do. I got my gun out. This dude decides to get up or something. That could have went left, man. But, that was one situation that, that I remember like, damn, man, I could have lost my life. Because like in this particular precinct, some months later, there was a police involved shooting. Something similar happened where they had a guy, basically he got attacked in a club. And long story short, he ran into the guys who jumped him in the club at like a fast food spot. So he pulls out the gun, tells the guy to get down. It's a very similar situation. They pull up, do the same thing. But this kid, when he went to go put the gun down, he turned towards the gun and they lit him up.
Oh, geez.
And he subsequently died from his injury. So that was a police involved shooting, cop on cop, and the guy who killed this particular police officer, God rest his soul. He had like 6 months left on the job, bro. He was getting ready to retire, and took a young kid's life. So,
man,
I think about that.
Absolutely. Well, just a couple of years ago, I know it was there in New York. I don't remember where it was at in the city, but there was a robbery that had happened, and plainclothes guys had responded to the robbery, and they showed up. Thought it was a robbery in progress, if I remember correctly. Had a gun out, were outside, and then uniforms pull up and end up shooting. And I thought they killed a plainclothes guy there too. Same type of deal. And that's one of the downfalls, I guess, of having an agency that big, is you don't know everybody that's there, compared to your smaller department. So that's a heartbreaking deal, man. So how do you end up, what makes you decide to transfer away from not just the 4-6 where everything's happening, but just NYPD and go out to where you're at now?
I had like a close family friend. I call him my uncle. He's not really my uncle. He's like my play uncle, but he was a highly decorated detective on the job for NYPD. And basically he was like, "Listen, dude, I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your career, but, chase the money, don't chase the glory." So I started taking tests for like neighboring cities. And, I took a test for White Plains and a few other cities. White Plains happened to call me. And, I used my family friend, my uncle, as a reference for this particular job. And like, they saw that, he backed me. He was like, "Hey, this kid's a phenomenal cop. He was willing to learn the job," and so on and so forth. And that kind of like greased the wheels for me to get to where I'm at right now. But basically it was just, they wanted me to have like a less hectic career, because the precinct that I was in was known to have like what they call like a black cloud around it. You know what I mean? Like, and I was so embedded in that like hey, I want to be like a real cop. So, and I would have stayed there, or you know, stayed in the borough and worked in the Bronx for like the duration of my career. And you know, my uncle was just like, dude, just chase the money, bro. Like, I understand that, you know, you want to be a quote unquote real cop, man, but like, you know, heroes get remembered, bro. Like,
Yeah.
when you retire, they throw your shield in a box with all the other shields that those guys retired that day, whatever, and then they give it to somebody else in that same breath that gets hired. It's like a revolving door. So he was like, you know, don't run around here trying to be a hero, man. Like, make sure you have a good pension, you know, you got some money in your pocket to provide a great lifestyle for you. So that's what really led me to like transfer, was
So
just, you know, chasing.
like White Plains would pay more than NYPD.
Oh, absolutely. I walked in, I got like an $18,000 raise. Yeah, 19 grand more.
Well, that's
Just starting. That was like the base.
yeah, that seems kind of odd. Being the largest police force, you'd think that they
Dude,
would
they
pay
don't
the
pay.
best.
They don't pay shit. I think
They don't pay shit. Yeah, man.
Jason, man, if you don't mind, can you look up NYPD starting salary and Tulsa starting salary? No, they are. Literally, we may be. Our rookies may make more than they do there in New York. And you talk about the cost of living difference. And to be an NYPD officer, you have to live in the city.
42. Yeah.
Yep.
42.5 starting NYPD.
42.5.
42 fucking 5, man.
Hey, I'll tell you this. When I got hired, right, it was 40,000 starting pay. You know what they did for the next class? It was some contractual agreement where they dropped it down to 25.1.
Isn't that insane? And you guys have to. I mean, you're supposed to live in the city, right? That's one.
Yeah, within the confines. Like there's certain restrictions. Like you can live in a county and an adjoining county, but you have to live in a greater New York City area.
Yeah, well, I know that's some stuff I've seen with, you know, a lot of the changes going on with NYPD and some of the representatives and whatnot out there. That's one of the things they want is you have to live there in the city, whether or not that passed. You find Tulsa?
Yeah, 58.
Yeah, so Tulsa PD, we start 58. You know, 50,
that's what I got hired at, 58.
Yeah, 16,000 more than NYPD. So anybody out there listening, looking for a job, Tulsa,
be a nurse.
Tulsa
we
police.
get paid a lot more. That's what,
I could tell you what you don't want to do if you want to get paid. Start a podcast. Don't
that's
do that.
right. Yeah, we just do this. We do it for love.
We do it for drinks.
We do it. We get free drinks. We pay for our own drinks too. So
yeah. We do it just to hang out. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But no, that's wild, man. A lot of people don't understand that. They think NYPD, you know, I mean, it's big money. But I knew, you know, those guys, they're grinding out there, and you got experience, you know, for sure. Moved on to somewhere else. So, man, you're out there, you're working the truck. What's a typical shift like that? So it's a full-time gig for you guys, right?
Yeah, full-time gig, man. We work 4 10-hour shifts, right? So you work 4. And then you're off 4, you work another 4, and then you're off 3. So that's how the rotation works. Typical shift, like you get in, you do like a roll call, right? So you do your roll call, figure out what the flavor of the day is, and then we knock out our like directed patrol. So if there's any kind of point of interest, train stations, synagogues, so on and so forth, you know, we park in front of there, enter it in the computer, let them know, you know, it's basically just police presence to deter would-be evildoers, if you will, you know what I mean? And, you know, if something does come over the radio, we only go to very specific calls. So like if patrol has a active like fight or something they believe to be dangerous, they'll call us. So like a barricaded, emotionally disturbed person or a person in crisis, they'll call us. Any kind of vehicle accident, they'll dispatch us. We also do a lot of aided calls too, because there's a medic that rides the truck and an EMT. So if there's any kind of like aided calls and they're kind of backed up, they'll send us, because we double as like an ambulance, and you know, we can patch up and then we'll just have the ambulance transport. And yeah, basically that's like a day.
How many guys are on the truck at a time?
So they're a 3-man team. So it's 2 on the big truck, and there's like a fly car, like a Ford Explorer. That's usually like where the medic rides around in, but it's just like it's a 3-man rotation.
Well, I will tell you from working in hospitals, if you have to go and extract some people from their bathrooms usually, or you have those aid calls, now that's what heroes are made.
I've seen it on both ends, bro. Like just some really nasty shit, and then some pretty crazy stuff.
I think the one that sticks out to me is we had a lady, and Thank goodness it was the firefighters. She, this happens. This is something that happens. Just this is public service announcement. A lot of people go in the bathroom and they try to bear down, and it's called vagueling. It'll stop their heart and they'll pass out. So this lady was
I've seen that.
yeah, 600 pounds. She sat down, pushed a little hard, vagal, fell out. They had to take her wall out of her damn house to get her out. They brought her to the hospital, gave her to us. And you know that tarp that like you can jump out of a window and the firemen will catch you with?
Oh, that's what they draped her over her, right?
Yeah, no, that's just what they had to carry her with
Oh yeah, well, the bariatric patient, man. I've seen that.
and brought her in. So yeah, I mean, there's where the real hero work goes, going into people's houses and checking them out.
Yeah, man. I've seen some pretty goofy shit in my day. So,
Yeah.
you know what the worst thing I've ever encountered is a GI bleed by far, smell wise.
Oh yeah, they're
Oh,
awful.
And
Yeah.
I've been on like DOAs, and I'm talking about like good ones, like 3 days in heat,
oh yeah.
and it's like they're bloated, and I've been on a GI bleed blows that shit out of the water.
No pun
Um,
intended.
no pun intended. Yes, one of the nastiest things I've ever smelled, man.
Yeah, you can
I,
diagnose that from 2 floors down.
dude, so like the call was basically a foul odor coming from an apartment, right? So if you've done this job long enough, foul odor from an apartment, it's a DOA.
Yeah,
If
that's yeah.
yeah, some neighbor calls it in. So now I'm just confirming with the neighbors, like, when's the last time you seen, Miss Ogletree or whatever, right? And they're like, oh no, we saw her like an hour ago. I'm like, oh, thank God, right? And so you saw her an hour ago. There's no way possible she could be dead. But as I pull up, I noticed that they were like it was an apartment building, and the front door was open, and they were just people kind of like hanging out outside, and a few people like in the vestibule. And I'm like, it smells that bad that you got to chill outside. This lady, there's no way she's alive. So as I'm walking down the hallway, this thing gets more pungent,
It is
and
pungent.
yeah, dude, when I'm telling you, I had to hold back puke. I was holding back puke. So, and you know what? Ironically, I just picked up food too, bro. Like I was getting ready to go on meal. I had to shit in my car. I was also getting ready to like crush this meal, and I get sent to this shit. But anyway, as I'm walking down the hallway,
Yeah, no pun intended.
no pun intended. So as I'm walking down the hallway, it's getting stronger and stronger. I'm like, fuck, this lady's dead. So I knock on the door. I don't hear anything. I'm like, and now I'm sitting there with like a towel over my nose and my mouth, and I'm like, you sure you seen this lady? They're like, yeah, I'm telling you. I'm like, all right. I knock one more time. I give it a good knock. I hear, just a minute. I'm like, oh, she's alive. I go, thank God. So now I'm thinking maybe like a sewer pipe or something burst in the house. So the lady opens the door. It's an elderly lady. And she kind of like, is like, has her eye like kind of peeking through the door. And I'm like, miss. And then I could actually really get a good whiff of what's going on inside. And I'm like, miss, listen, your neighbors are extremely concerned about what's going on in this apartment. Is there any way I can get in there and see if everything's okay? So she goes, no, I'm fine. You need to leave. Listen, like, I can't leave because of what I smell coming out of that house. So she tries to close the door on me, and I kind of foot the door. And when I footed the door, she legit like fell back. And when I opened the door, it was like a studio apartment, and she had her bed like in the living room. She shit from the living room to like where the door was. And then the bathroom was like right there. It looked like coffee grounds. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, poor thing. Yeah,
yeah, man.
This is that. I mean, for our audience, a GI bleed is a gastrointestinal bleed, and it's when you're bleeding into your lower GI tract, and it's bad. You can die pretty quick from it. But
yes,
your colon's designed to process food, not blood, so it does some weird things to blood, and it does look like coffee grounds when it comes out. So if you ever smell this, take somebody to the hospital.
Yes, please.
Your podcast nurse, thank you.
ASAP, take them to the hospital. And this lady, she tried to like refuse. They're telling her, ma'am, like, we got to get some IV in you. Like, you're probably dehydrated, this and that. She says, I'll just have a glass of water. A glass of water is not going to help you. You need some fluids. You need to be in a hospital because this is not normal.
Tough.
Yeah,
all right, let's
man.
go on to another subject. We got about 7 minutes left. How'd you get your name, Jumpman? Where'd this come from?
Oh man, so I'm a connoisseur of like sneakers. I've been collecting sneakers for the last like 20 years, 2 decades. And one of my friends, childhood friend, is like, this guy's got more more sneakers than Jumpman himself, like, you know, Michael Jordan himself. So the kids just started calling me Jumpman. So then Jumpman turned into Jumpman Jay, and then, you know, the name was born.
It was born. Hey, well, what's that guy? I think he's from New York or something like that, and he was a sneakerhead as well. And he kind of, you know, buying, selling, and he's opened up stores all over the place. God, what is the name of the store? I was just out of one in Vegas. And I mean, there's Jordans in there. I mean, or not just Jordans, just shoes in general, like 15,000 a pair. I mean, literally,
It's a huge subculture, man. I got a few in my collection that are worth about 5,000 or 6,000 a pair.
Yeah, it's
you know?
You have the Back to the Future original OG Nikes that they had?
No, and I wish I could. They were $20,000 when they came out. I couldn't afford that on my rinky-dink salary. So
definitely couldn't make it if you were working for NYPD.
Well,
true. That is very true.
Wearing Pro Wings, the old school. Yeah, so you know, you kind of hit on there talking about fitness. We're going to give you a little bit of plug, you know, here for the Instagram. So, like I said, you're a strong motherfucker. But you kind of ventured out. I mean, he's got a bunch of old videos in there posting, lifting some weights and stuff. But you've kind of, I don't want to say move past that, but you've kind of got like a new love, a new little hobby going on right now. That actually, ironically, I'm kind of wearing a shirt.
Yeah, got that cycle shirt on.
And actually, Howard here was just doing some races this weekend. He's a big mountain biker. So, what you out there doing now?
Yeah, man, I'm heavy into the cycle life now, man. I'm a little older now, so the body doesn't recover as quick. So lifting heavy weights day in and day out kind of beat up on the body. So I wanted to kind of get something that didn't really beat up on the body. And I like to be outside. So I bought a bike, and then I just caught the bug, man. I got on a bike one day, rode like 50 miles, and I was like, oh, I think I'm kind of addicted to it. And the rest is history.
That's kind of cute. What kind of whip did you get?
I have a few bikes. I have a Bianchi. So my dad is an avid cyclist. So I bought the same exact bike that he has. And then I bought a Trek Madone.
That's a good
2018. Yeah, it's a decent bike. It's not bad. But I'm looking to like up it. I'm gonna get something probably next year for my birthday. I'll probably get something nice.
Yeah, people don't understand how expensive bikes are.
Oh, it's like motorcycles, man. You pay $14,000 for a bicycle.
I'll say as much as those shoes you're collecting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jay, let me ask you a question, man. If you went out and you've got some nice bikes, and let's just say for your birthday you get a brand new one, if you got a van, for instance, let's say you got a van and you keep your bike in the back of the van, man, would you lock that thing?
Absolutely.
Well, this dumb motherfucker sitting next to me right now had a badass mountain bike.
Oh yeah,
in the back of his van, unlocked.
Pretty car.
Unlocked.
Yeah, and guess what? About a couple hours later, the police catch a homeless man riding it.
We talked about this already, like 2
I know.
podcasts ago. I'm gonna get beat on. This is my red boot.
We moved past.
This is my. Speaking of red boots, Chad Ayers wasn't mentioned today in this, but we'd like to say hi to Chad Ayers.
Yeah. Hey, do you like Crown Apple?
Do I like Crown Apple?
Yeah.
I used to drink it when I was a younger man. Will not drink it now.
Yeah, that's underage stuff you kind of sneak to drink. So I will
not drink that now.
Absolutely. All right. Well, those are usually things we have to talk about in every episode. Now we're going to start introducing Howard's bicycle getting stolen.
Yes, but bicycles are great, man. They're freedom machines. And you're a
freedom machines. Yeah.
Hey, man, you're fit. You lift weights and stuff. But when you got on that bicycle with a few guys that have been riding some, they whooped your ass, didn't they?
Yes, it is humbling as fuck. You hear me?
Yeah.
I had a 52-year-old man talking shit to me. Like he was kicking my ass going up and down this hill, dude. He was talking shit.
Howard, how old are you?
I'm 53.
53. So I grew up in San Francisco, and I was, I did the skateboard and I did the break dance and I did street freestyle on bikes, and thought I was good as a kid. Hadn't ridden bikes in a long ass time. These guys were riding bikes, and so I get myself a Trek mountain bike, drop some money, get a pretty decent one, drop $7,000 on a full suspension. I go out and ride with these guys the first time, and I've been doing CrossFit since CrossFit started, essentially forever. Dude, I got my ass handed to me.
Ass handed to you.
I held my own. But they put it on me.
We went real slow.
Yeah, they did. They were like behind me, pushing my bike for me.
We'll do that. But it is.
Dude, it's humbling. I was livid, man. These old dudes are running circles around me, man. And they were making fun of me, like, oh yeah, you got muscles, you got abs and shit. That means nothing here. You're just talking shit the whole time, man. It's like, all right, bro, I'm trying.
14 pounds, just taking it to you, huh?
Pick their little carbon fiber
dude.
bikes up and slam them.
You started weighing your
It's just
food
like-
yet? You got to start weighing your food. You're gonna ride that road bike. You can be
Yeah,
chunky
man.
like me if you ride mountain bikes.
You know what? I'm actually thinking about potentially getting a mountain bike. I don't know yet. I just bought a gravel bike the other day, so that's like my segue into like the off-road stuff. But we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
they're gonna call you Bike Man Jay when you get really hooked.
Hey, man, I welcome it. I welcome it. It's a fun hobby, dude. You could go, 60, 70 miles, no problem, and see to different terrain and go different places. So I'm all for it.
Well, good for you. Well, man, really appreciate you getting on here. It's been a long time coming that, like I said, you and I have kind of through the gram, the beautiful world of social media.
Social media, yes.
Touch with one another, or at least, that type of stuff. I mean, it's been a couple of years, so it's actually nice to see your face and talk to you, and we appreciate you being on here with us.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Be safe, buddy.
All right, brother. Be good, man. You guys be safe. Cheers.
Later.